And so we're going to be looking at metaphysics for abnormal times. And this has actually become a popular talk. And so what I want you to do is sit back, relax, enjoy your coffee or your breakfast. My slides are available at alberthasselbeck@gmail.com. I'll also send them along with a PDF of the slides to John. And I don't know if he has a place to post them, but they'll be there for you to get a hold of. And so this is what I want you to know. You are powerful, and powerful in a way that's larger than you can even dream. And in the midst of that, I want you to know how to handle fear, because in these times, people are fearful. And let's talk about how we can handle this long pause and associate it with the central Unity teaching, our threefold nature. As I was waiting, I just figured out I've been in this pause mode for 5 months. Who ever imagined it would be this long? And at this point, I don't know when it's going to end, and I'm settled in for the long haul. And so we got to start with this idea. There's an error. Most of us are trained in some way that we live from the outside in, that we're constantly in a state of victim consciousness, that we have no control, we have no power, not only about what's happening to us, but how we are responding to it. And this is a total error, because in truth, we live from the inside out. And when we live from the inside out, we are the masters of our lives. Well, the truth is, when we're victims, we're a master, but we give it over to other people. And so living from the inside out means, yes, the information's coming in through our senses, but you and I have the power to control our responses and our reactions and handle it all at the highest level of consciousness. And so you are powerful. And this is why I want to share this wonderful quote with you from the Revealing Word. The ego is man, and by reason of his divinity, he makes and remakes as he will. Did you hear that? The ego, our ego is ourself. We could call it our personality. And by reason of my divinity and by reason of your divinity, we can make and remake as we will. And in fact, we do. I would suspect you've been making and remaking your life your whole life. And then he goes on to say, through the door of its consciousness must pass all the treasures of God. Through the door of your personality, through the door of your humanity, past all the treasures of God. In fact, all the treasures of God, all the principles, all the laws are right there at the point of view. And this is what we mean by God being omnipresence. The totality of what God is the very core of your being. And because of this, you are powerful. And then there's others quotes I'm sure you heard. The kingdom of God is within you. And it's not within you like a raisin in a bun. It is the core of your beingness. And then there's this fabulous quote from Jesus. All authority hath been given unto me in heaven and earth. And you might be thinking, sure, that was about Jesus, but what about me? Well, Charles Fillmore believed, and I believe right along with him, that we are to claim the very same affirmations that Jesus used, and that Jesus was really no different from us, other than he awakened more fully to what we call the Christ within, which is really your divinity. And so we're going to do a little metaphysics on this, the metaphysical Bible interpretation. Also in the Revealing Word, we have the definition of heaven and earth. Heaven and earth are two states of mind, the ideal and the manifestation. One, heaven, is the realm of pure ideas or divine ideas, and the other, earth, is the realm of thought forms. When we hear that quote, having authority over heaven and earth, most of the time, we go back to our theology of our childhood and we think of heaven somewhere out there, and how do we have authority there? And heaven over this physical planet, how do we have authority over that? But really, we're talking about the realm of ideas and the realm of thought forms. So this becomes, all authority hath been given unto me in the realm of ideas and the realm of thought forms. You and I have dominion, personal authority over every divine idea and every thought and feeling you hold. So you're powerful. Since you're powerful, how do we handle fear? Well, we want to use fear to remind ourselves of love. And you're probably scratching your head, Paul, what in the world are you thinking here? Well, I first learned this in the context of A Course in Miracles. So I'm going to use that quote. And while I explain this, I'm going to be sharing the quote as it appeared in A Course in Miracles. And then I'm going to be tweaking it so you can really understand it. So the original quote, fear and love are the only emotions of which you are capable. Read along with me. One is false, for it was made out of denial. And denial depends on the belief in what is denied for its own existence. And this is something I discovered very early in studying the Course in Miracles. I could get lost in the pronouns. And so what I've done is I've adapted it by putting the proper names to replace the pronouns. So fear and love are the only emotions of which you are capable. Fear is false, for fear was made out of the denial of love. Therefore, fear depends on the belief in love for its own existence. We could say you couldn't be in a state of fear unless you were loving. Think about it. When you're fearful of something happening to you, it's because you love yourself. When you're fearful of something happening to a family member or dear friend, you're fearful because you love them and you don't want anything to happen to them. When you're fearful, that is an indication that love is present. We even love things, and when we're afraid something's going to happen to them, it's because they're precious to us and we love them. The quote goes on, by interpreting fear correctly as a positive affirmation of the underlying belief it masks, you are undermining fear's perceived usefulness. Again, putting in the words, the pronoun it. By interpreting fear correctly as a positive affirmation of the underlying love it masks, you are undermining fear's perceived usefulness. Now, the Course in Miracles says fear was made the high love's presence. I don't believe that anymore. I think fear is a direct response to our perception that myself or someone or something I love might get damaged or hurt or destroyed in some way. So fear is really a positive indicator that love is present. So anytime you're fearful, pause and think about what you're loving at the same time and shift that awareness. You are powerful. You can do that. And so moving on to something equally powerful in my mind is I want to talk about the autonomic nervous system and fear. And I hope I don't get too much in the weeds here. But the autonomic nervous system has two parts. One part controls the fight, flight, or freeze response. And today they're adding a fourth word, please or fawn. And another part controls the calm and connect response. In fact, it is the calm and connect side of the autonomic nervous system that comes online to cool down the fear. But you don't have to wait for it to come online, because science has shown us that we can, by means of simply breathing, by our breath, we can shift that focus from fear to calm and connect. It's called 4-7-8 breathing. You breathe in deeply to a count of 4, you hold it for a count of 7, and you breathe out through a count for a count of 8. Now look, if holding at 7 is too long, hold it, and then go to the 8 count. And what we're going to do is practice this. So just do it once. So breathe in to a count of 4, 2, 3, 4. Hold it. Count of 7, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Breathe out to a count of 8, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, you really need to do this at least 3 times. Sometimes it takes more. I find that the moment in which my fear response is going through the ceiling, or even if I'm mildly irritated in traffic, I remember my 4, 7, 8 breathing, and that just brings me back to center. Because when I breathe that way, when you breathe that way, we cannot keep the biochemistry doing what it does. And when we breathe that way, we stimulate that part of the autonomic nervous system. And those calm and connect chemicals start bathing our whole body system, counteracting the ones that were being manifested during fight, flight, freeze, and please. Finally, I want to share with you one more thing, the long haul and our threefold nature. Charles Fillmore said we were spirit, soul, body. In today's language, it's probably clearer to say divinity, mind, and body, or divinity, consciousness, and body. We each are divine, we each have consciousness, and we each have a body. In fact, our mind and body makes up our humanity. And so this is a metaphysical practice I was using before the so-called lockdown. So I asked myself 3 questions in the morning. What am I going to do today to take care of my body? Now, this is not in the context of judging my body as fat or thin or whatever. It's just about what can I do today? What one thing I can do today to take care of my body? And it might be exercise. It might be eating well. It might be even meditating, though that actually covers number 2 and 3. So number 2 is, what am I going to do today to take care of my mind? So in addition to prayer, meditation, this could also be inspirational reading, like the Daily Word, like Charles Fillmore, like any contemporary writer, even my books. And then the third question is, what am I going to do today to take care to remember my divinity? You see, your divinity and my divinity do not need to be taken care of. They are timelessly perfect just the way they are. And so I do want to remember my divinity. And I can do that too by reading about it, knowing about it, but also by investing time in meditation. In fact, I say, if you're not meditating, you're probably not too serious about being on this spiritual journey. And even if you're not serious about your spiritual journey, like I said just a minute ago, meditation, in a way, takes care of our minds and takes care of our bodies. It has benefit in all 3 areas. And so I hope you have a glimmer now of just how powerful you are. And I hope you remember next time you're in a fear response that you couldn't be in that response unless you loved what you think is threatened. And when that fear comes up, use the connect and calm response, 4, 7, 8 breathing. And for sure, remember, as part of your daily routine, remember to take care of your body. Remember to take care of your mind. And remember to take care to remember. Yeah, remember to remember your divinity. Because the truth is, we're using our divinity 24/7 to manifest our humanity. In fact, we are wondrously infinite in finite ways. And so it is. And thank you for having me today.